What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Unorthodox Otaku Guy, and we're going to be doing an unboxing of Kazuma from Konosuba's his Figma. So stay tuned, let's check it out.
Unorthodox Otaku Guy.
Alright, everybody, welcome back, and let's get into it. We're pretty excited about opening this guy, at least I am. I do have, let's see, yep. I have his bonus. He is from Good Smile Company, so I did get the bonus. Let me get myself a knife to open him up. So, Kazuma, he is a absolutely hilarious character. He's the hero we deserve when it comes to, I guess, the isekai heroes. You know, you have a lot of isekai heroes these days. The isekai trend has blown the F up, and let's just say Kazuma is definitely one of the best of the hero group when it comes to the isekai heroes. He's funny, and the way he interacts with the cast is very, very nice blend for the characters. So that's what makes getting him as a Figma more desirable. Especially because we're getting a decent cast for the Figmas, which is a nice treat. Normally, you probably even noticed, we don't normally get the male character in the lineup if he is like the main character. Figma doesn't really like do a lot of the male characters. It definitely is a majority of the female characters. Not a major complaint on that, but there are a couple of characters that would be really sweet to have, just, you know, to complete a set even. For example, the ReZero lineup, yeah, Ram, Amelia's coming, and it would be nice to have Subaru too. Even though he is way more useless than our buddy here, Kazuma, in terms of an awesome character. But anyways, it's having a complete series is always awesome. So at least we're getting, we have Kazuma here, we have Megumin and Aqua are already out, and we have Darkness on the way. Hopefully we'll get lucky, we'll get some more, but anyways, very happy to have Kazuma here, and you got a bonus, which is really cool. Kazuma has hilarious type of reactions to situations, so he's got some cool faceplates included here. And he's like the typical, you know, staple of an RPG fantasy adventurer, which is really cool. So let's get into opening them up. Cut the tape. So this one has a Katakawa authenticity sticker. It's the one on the front with the serial number. So that is one thing to look out for when getting one of these. Always look out for one of those when it comes to making sure you have an authentic one or a bootleg. Again, Katakawa ones, they've been like getting better with making sure that their stickers are on there. But I have to throw this out there because my Ram from Good Smile Company shop directly, they did not have any Katakawa authenticity stickers on them. So I always like to throw this out there. Be warned, just in case, even if you don't have one, there's a possibility, you know, rare chances that they can be authentic. It's like shit happens with putting on stickers. Maybe they missed it or something. But whenever I got my Ram directly from Good Smile Company, they didn't have them on there, and they're authentic. But I heard later on that some later on did have them on there. So it's weird. And my figures are indeed authentic. Because they didn't even have the bootlegs out even yet. They came out later on. I bought release for those. But anyways, enough of me rambling. Let's get into this. I just always like to make sure I cover that for people who are trying to look into seeing if they have a bootleg of the character or not, and the steps they should try to look into making sure it's authentic or not. All right. So we got Kazuma stuck here. This cape. The cape is stuck to the backdrop here, so let me just get that out of the way. Instruction manual. There's no hidden goodies behind here, so let's slide this back into the box. Okay. So we do have a instruction manual for him. It is nothing special. It's the usual stuff, just showing what is included and how to put stuff on. Now, he isn't too dramatic of a character in terms of like crazy stuff included or things he can do. It's a very basic loadout. which also it adds to the type of character that he is. He makes the best of the situation with what he has. So I'm just going to undo some plastic tape there, and let's get into opening up Kazuma, because there's really not much here to work with, which is a good thing, and also a bad thing. But hopefully this is for the best. So we got some faceplates, so pop them out. We'll go over those individually. We have our effect. We have the figure itself, and then we have his accessories. He has his sword. I can't remember the name. Was it Chuchumaru, I believe it was? That's what Megumin gave it a ridiculous name. I think it was something like that. It's been a while since I watched Konosuba. And then we have a pair of panties, which is covered in tape. So let's get that out. That'll be fun. Alright, let's go into Kazuma himself. Let's give him a look-see over and see how he is. They wrapped him up in some plastic very well. He has his sword's sheath on his back already. You don't need to put it on. It's wrapped on a belt around his waist. Okay, is it removable? I don't think so. So it is there. And I will say, one thing that's weird, they opted for the belt to be semi-affixed to him. So it is actually not as loose as some other characters. Like, it actually is part of him. On the right side, there is some looseness. It's not fully attached. I'm guessing that's because this part of the side of him has a cutout where his shirt is designed there. But on the other portions where it is closest to, like, the white, it actually is affixed to it. So don't go trying forcing it off or anything of the sort. Shirt and everything looks okay. Paint details for the black on his shirt look good. Okay, let me see if I can bump this forward just a tad so I can get a little bit better detailed look at some things. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so for the black lines on the shirt for the tie, they look good. Not a tie, but tie together. So, do we have extended joints on him? I think we do. Okay, no, we do not. He doesn't have the extendo joints. How about the legs? Sometimes they do half and half. Nope, they do not. So he has basic articulation, but he doesn't have much hindrance for how the arms are, so he has decent range of motion. They gave a good amount of the cut in the shirt there, so I can actually move the arm to the side a bit, and there's a good amount of range of motion inside the shirt there. And on top of that, this is semi-flexible, so he's going to have a good range of motion for his arm. You'll just have a little bit of a gapping on the arm. Basic joint for that. I know people, this is one complaint I've seen from people, is that they opted for a different color kneecap, and it's clear as day. It's like a bluish. Why didn't they match the color of his blackish, grayish pants, but they gave him a blue kneecap? That's the only thing that I see. It is true. It's definitely sticks out there. Like, what were you thinking, Good Smile? But then again, this is also, I think this is made at Tomitech, their line of Figmas. And I guess they're getting better at their quality control. This is definitely much better work from them. But still, why did you have a bluish kneecap? Is that, it was in your parts bin? That's what, you had plenty of them and you needed to get rid of them or something? I don't know. You got big exposed joints for the ankles there, so it looks kind of okay, but that means extra range of motion. There's no hindrance from the boot, so he can have his boot all the way back, and then he's got the posable toe on top of that. So for range of motion for the feet, he actually gets a top tier for that, with no restrictions. So you got your pros and your cons there. Kneecap, there is no hindrance of motion, and he has decent range of motion on the knee. He doesn't have the extra joints, like the higher end joints on him, so he has very basic range of motion, but he doesn't really have anything hindering him. So, I mean, he can kick himself in the back for all he cares, and he doesn't even have the advanced joints. So, I mean, articulation is easy with him. Leg spread, yeah, you can do a full split with him very, very easily, even with the standard joints, because there is just almost nothing hindering his outfit. So for his base outfit, he's looking really good for articulation and things you can do. The arm, I would say the best thing about it is just the fact that it has the double ball joint. It doesn't have the one that I would say extends out all the way, goes in and out of the socket, but he does have the double ball joint. So that's really helps there, especially because you can push it back up and then you can have it so it's a little more flush with the shoulders. All right, so for overall head, this is one thing I'm going to check because they're notorious for it from the Tommy Tech ones, is how bad the hairpiece is. Let's see if it goes in and doesn't fall out. Okay, it has a little bit of friction there, so it's not falling out right away. Good improvement there, good job. I didn't have to throw some nail polish in it right off the bat. I had to do that for Megumin and it sucked. So they do a good job with the face and the painting for the face plates. The only thing that's a little off-putting, I don't know if it's just me, but Kazuma has this one face in here. There, focus. All right, so this faceplate is very iconic for his like insanity faceplate. It's kind of like just embracing what everyone's just accusing him of at that point. And you can't really see any teeth, so it's a little creepy. Like this one, it makes sense from the angle. It's very, very good. There's just something a little uncanny about this face right here. I don't know what it is about it. It's really good otherwise. It's just there's like a little bit of uncanniness to it. And then he has this standard face that is included, which is a very basic neutral, which is always good to have. I always like to have a very neutral face. He does include with a water effect. This actually looks really good. Good job on this. Very, very good job on this. Actually block some light there so you can see a little more detail on it. So the water effect is really, really good. I very much like this. This can be used for a number of things, which is really nice about this. They did a wonderful job on this. It has a good fade for the, it has like an opaque bottom part of it, and then it fades into a bluish hue for the water. So really good job on that, the water effect, to be honest. Sword looks really well done. It has a nice amount of detail in the actual handle itself. When it comes to the handguard, it's pretty basic. There's nothing crazy about it, but nonetheless, it does look like his sword. Let me see if I can get this to focus. I doubt it, but there we go. Details are pretty good. It looks really good for what it is, and is exactly as intended. So, very good job on that. And we are getting one of my old wishes today. Holy crap. Oh my god, it hasn't been like this in so long. Okay, so you may have seen this in a couple videos. I've complained about this before. We haven't had a sword actually go into a sheath in a long time. And I really like that aspect, that feel, like popping one in there for a little toy sword. It does feel a little rough. It doesn't feel as well sculpted. So I hope there's no paint transfer that goes in and out of this. But that's so cool. It actually goes in there. Recently, they switched to a design where they rip off the top of the sword and it plugs into a sheath. It doesn't actually go into it. And I really prefer the actual sword popping into the sheath there. It's really awesome. And to be honest, it's dead. It's something that doesn't happen anymore. So seeing this is actually pretty cool. Definitely going back to a little bit of old Figma roots there. So it's kind of like an unnecessary pro right there. It's just kind of like a personal thing. But I really like that. So it's going to get points to me for that, just because that's one of those things I prefer. And then we have a very, very basic looking pair of black panties that he can hold onto and flail around as one of his other accessories. Now, I don't remember whose it is exactly. Could be Megumin's. I know she wears black panties. But anyways, very entertaining to have that, because it's just one of those things you could reenact as a scene. And they gave Megumin some really good embarrassed lewd faces and stuff like that that are really good for this. So Kazuma's shaping up just to be the comedy character that we need as well, on top of the Megumin and Aqua that are already out, and the upcoming Darkness. It's gonna be so good. I can't wait to see what they do for Darkness, because she is the absolute masochist of the group. So let's get onto here. We got our Figma bag, and let's check out our hands. Oh man, this is turning out to be awesome. All right, so let's go in, let's open this up and get out all the accessories. We got our base plate here. This is a little annoying to open. Come on. There we go. Okay, got a nice good tear on that one. So I can dump everything out. All right. We got our base stand. Oh wow, this is weird. You definitely can tell this is not directly like their normal Good Smiles means, because their base is weird. This is like frosted stand. It almost looks like a bootleg instead of the clear stands. And what I mean by this, I actually have one right here and compare it. All right, so we have, this one is from Kazuma here, and he's authentic. He's serial numbered, straight from Good Smile. And this one is Guts, Berserker Armor, straight from Good Smile. And they are two different types of stands, and it shows where when they make them definitely differently in different places. This one here is clear, and this one here is frosted. I don't even know why, but it's just a weird thing. And to be honest, I don't even think maybe they changed up Kazuma, because Megumin and Aqua have clear stands. I know that for sure. This is the first frosted stand I've seen in a long time. This is definitely a weird choice, because the frosted arm matches the base. The base is the same as always. So weird choice for that. I did notice that it didn't come with an adapter, did it? Oh, it did not. Normally they come with it. Oh, there it is. Okay, it did. So it still comes with the adapter for the stand. It's a little angled piece. Okay, so the last piece we got to open up is the cape. And so this is one of the other of the two things that has a complaint on it that I will address. So the first one was the kneecaps. It is at least semi-coverable, because his knee is not fully exposed when it's there. So you don't always guarantee you see it there, but as soon as you bend his knee, it pops out. That is one ordeal right there. For photo editing, that is extremely easy to edit out. But as the figure itself, is there something you are going to see, you have to deal with? That is one of those things that's just like, what were they thinking? It is swappable. If you ever get a spare figure that has those kneecaps, or I don't know if they sell them online or something like that, these are very generic joints, and you should, like, they're generic Figma joints. They tend to reuse these type of joints in here. So you should be able to swap that out with, you shouldn't have to, but this is just an idea. You may be able to swap them out for a similar color knee joint instead of having the blue in there, which is kind of dumb. If I ever find a figure that is cheap that has that color in that joint in there, I might part them out and just yoink it out of there. All right, so let's go on to Kazuma's cape, because I've been hearing some weird stuff about his cape. His cape design is intended to be permanently flailed outwards. And what I mean by that is, like, when you have it on, it's a short cape. It's a very short cape. All right, so put that over his head, and then it plugs into his back. All right, so now we have it on there, and then it's always flailed outwards, apparently. So let's see if we can mess with this a little bit, and if we can change that. Because people are saying you can't, but I beg to differ a little bit. What type of joint is that? That joint does articulate. We can get that down. And then this one we can rotate as well. Okay. So, it's really weird, but it is doable. We can make this happen. Okay, it looks a little weird, but you can get it down. So instead of having it so this flap here is on top of the two flaps, you can open up these two and let this one drape downward, and then let that one those other two go downward. So instead of it permanently sticking in the outward position, which would be kind of up and out, you can get that down. It is a little weird though, because you have two flaps kind of sticking out a little bit, but I mean, it definitely is better if you're looking for a down position. It's definitely better than not, because like you can sort of maneuver these into a downward position of the sort. So I can see where the complaints are about it, but if you get creative, you might be able to work with it. So I can understand that, but it could be the end of the world. It's not a one piece; it is a 3-piece cape, so you can get a little creative. Hell, I'm actually curious if you can take a heat gun or something like that to this piece and try to like bend these flaps and flatten them out a little bit. And then change the shape of the cape. That might be an interesting project. I don't know if I'm brave enough to do it, but it's just food for thought if anyone wanted to think about remolding his cape's direction or anything of the sort. Let's do the test. Can he stand up on his own? I know it's always hard on this table because this table's a little plush. Yep, he can stand up just fine. Okay, so let's get into the hands and whatnot. Now that we've gone over and looked at him, his cape, his body, the way he's painted and sculpted and stuff, he's looking really good. And now, one thing I like to address too, I've been noticing they've been doing for some characters, they're adding extra articulation to the neck. So you'll see Kazuma here, he has his head, and then his neck itself, the neck joint in the body is moving. So he's got head at the top part of the neck, but at the base of the neck, in the torso itself here. So you have this one up here, the neck joint, at the ball joint, and then you have one here in the chest itself. So this cutoff line here is actually articulating at the base. So you have the neck top, and then you have the actual neck base is rotating. So if that makes sense, that's a really nice touch. I would like to see that more, because that adds a little extra character of like different angles you can get with the head. I mean, he can look, holy crap, he can look, you can do a laying pose where he's looking up now, just because you can get his neck moving. So you can have like a dramatic, like on the ground shot, or him like collapsed or something and he's looking up, or, you know, vice versa. You can have him, his neck doesn't want to look too high up, too bad. It's more forward. So you can get forward, or you can actually get some really good side shot peeking out. That's actually kind of funny. You can get him some good leaned over peeking right there. That's not bad. So that's really good. Paint on the cape. Let's look at that real quick. Much better job on the paint lines. Holy crap. Wow. Much better. The previous paint lines on the cape were quite atrocious. So they are learning. They're getting better. So whatever Tony and Tech doing, just keep it up. You're getting better. Keep working at it, because this is definitely, I'm definitely seeing a lot of improvements over, especially Megumin. Poor girl. She's like one of my favorite characters too, and they botched her in a lot of ways. I still love her. Great Figma still, but there's a lot of mess ups. All right, so going on to, yeah, no, Kazuma just fell over. Going on to the hands, we got to go into this because I just opened it up and I was like, oh, damn, that's awesome. So we got our wrist pin, and we have a rack of hands that's almost entirely full of the extended rack. So we have 7 extra hands on top of the 2 that are on him already. That's an over amount for the amount of hands that I want from a Figma. Very, very good. So we have, from the base, 3 faceplates and an over amount of hands included. So we exceeded our expression amount. Then we have we do have an accessory, and it's actually quite nice. They did a good job on the sword, because I do appreciate the sheath. It gets an extra thumbs up there. It's 2 thumbs up. We have an effect. Effects are always welcome and very scarce when it comes to Figmas. Whenever there's an effect included, it's a big thank you for sure, as long as it doesn't replace expression. Expression is top tier, must have character expression. You can always make or replace effects or buy effects or anything like that. It's hard to get faceplates and hands for the specific character. So this, on top of everything, very nice touch. The panties part, very funny, good comedy aspect there. It's gonna be great for usage there. And then we have one more thing on top of all of this. We do have the cape. That's part of his outfit. It's sort of an accessory, but it's meant to be part of the outfit. It's just detached. The cape could use work. It actually looks like it could be fixable even. You may be able to remold that cape with a little bit of heat or like a hair dryer or some boiling water or something like that. Just a little creative idea there, because since it's a 3-piece and it has some joints on it, there's room for fixing. Definitely room for fixing. They did a great job on the paint job for it too, so it's cool. So last thing is, let's check out this bonus, because I kind of forgot what it was. I don't think it's anything too crazy, but if I recall, I think it's a faceplate. So let's check it out. Yep, it is indeed a faceplate, and it will be definitely used for a good aspect of some comedy or anything of the sort, because it has an extra expression for him that is just kind of like acceptance or of the sort, which is nice. So we have a closed eye smiling expression as such. We'll hide my face. So it's always nice to have. I really like bonus faceplates because they're part of expression. And if I can get as many expression parts as possible, that is the most important thing for me when it comes to picking up a Figma. So with his bonus together, his overkill amount of expression from an extended hand rack here, included with the 2 hands that are already on his body, 4 faceplates with the bonus included, and then we have some accessories on top of that. Kazuma right here gets a very high rating of a recommended character for sure. Non-biased, not because of the fact that I love Konosuba, but just because of the fact that they did a wonderful job on improving their Figmas in general. I hope to see more improvements from this line, if it is the same line. It's curious that they have a frosted arm. Not sure if it's the same line. If it is, I really hope it is the improvements that we're seeing here. So when it comes to that all wrapped up, the only beefs that I have are the knee joints are a different color. Don't know why. It's kind of avoidable too. It's a separate part. You could have easily just had the right color of knees. And then the cape is a little wonky, though it definitely seems usable or repairable in a sense. Just because when you switch the flap order of the cape to put it down, the 2 that are sticking up, you may be able to get those curved down the other way. So it is a curiosity project that someone might be able to mess with. Kind of wish I had 2 Kazumas just so I can play with one for molding it at that point. But I had a hope for Kazuma to be good. And you know what? Definitely hope paid off. I do like also the added neck torso there. That articulation there is super cool. Mad scientist. This is awesome. Highly recommend Kazuma. He's overall a wonderful Figma. He's going to be a sweet contender for any type of adventuring, the fantasy RPG style, or isekai shots or anything of the sort, and also using for comedy, because Konosuba is still one of my favorite comedy animes I've ever watched. Highly recommend this figure. If you haven't got Kazuma, definitely get him before any type of price spike if you have not already got him. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this unboxing and my discussion and opinion of the Kazuma figure here, because overall his articulation is pretty rock solid. His quality has gone up. They did a wonderful job on that. He's loaded with expression, and he has a decent amount of accessories. So for a character that's pretty simplistic, of a adventurer, not bad. Definitely a good thumbs up and a good feeling of I actually got like a good character purchase, good like value for money, and I didn't feel like I got gypped or deceived or it was a total piece of crap or anything. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video breakdown, like discussion, review, unboxing of Kazuma here, because I thoroughly did myself, and I actually didn't expect. I guess my hopes were a little down just because they were a little shaky from Megumin and Aqua, but it's good to know that they did a good job with Kazuma here, and we have good hopes for Darkness in the future as she comes up, and we should hopefully be seeing her pre-order come up any day now since she is painted and finished for her prototype. So, until the next time you guys see me, I hope you guys enjoyed this video very much. If you like it, leave a like. Subscribe if you want to see more content. I'm going to be trying to keep catching up with my backlog. I got a big mountain of figures to work through. So until the next time you guys see me, remember to stay unorthodox. Take care.